Hey guys, so in this video we are going to learn how to create and perform CRUD operations in Angular. You all know CRUD operations are four basic things which are in every application or project, like we create, read, update and delete the records. So in this video we are going to learn how to create the records in Angular using a form. So please watch the video completely and I will recommend you to code with me. So let's start. So I have just written these steps so we don't lose the track. So first thing we are going to do, that is we are going to install some important packages. I will be installing Bootstrap package, and this is the ngx toaster package. This is used for alert, and this is Angular animation package. This is required for this toaster package. And finally we are going to install this Angular JSON server to mark our APIs. And in the step 2 we are going to create the UI, means of form and UI, and we will create HTTP service files and we will call the API and save the data. So you can take a pause and go through these steps. So let's start. Packages I already installed. So let me just tell you what need to do once you install the Bootstrap and ngx toaster. So I already installed Bootstrap. This package takes much time, so I just already installed. So I will tell you what to do after installing the packages. So you have to go to angular.json file, and once you are in angular.json file, so inside the architect object you will have a style array. So inside this style array you have to add this line to use the toaster css as well as this line to use the bootstrap css. Okay, so now we are good. And to install a JSON server, you just have to hit the command a JSON server, and the JSON server will be automatically installed. Okay, and so let's create the UI first. To save your time, I just already created some ready-made UI. So let me show you the demo. This is an empty blank project, so you can see nothing is there. So first thing we have to do is, let me just create some components. Like we are going to use a header navigation bar where we will have a links, and we will have a form UI also. So I'm just creating components. So ng g c means create, and g means generate, c means component. And so I'm going to create a home component. So the home component is created. Let me create a header component also, where we will place our navigation bar. And after this I will create one more component. Let's say in this CRUD application we are going to manage the students data, so we will create the student, edit the student, delete the student, etc. So let me just create a student component. So once you create these components are automatically declared in the app module file. So if you see, the home component, header and student components are automatically imported as well as declared. And for the header component I already prepared a UI, so I'm just copying it to save our time. This is just a basic UI. So this is just a bootstrap classes and navigation bar. Okay, so header component is ready. So now let's go to the student component. In this student component we are going to add a student form. So that UI I have already created. So this is a form for this. Let's do a layouting. So as we can see, we have only this one written, so we are going to add header in this section, then we will show our component, that is a student form. So what I will do is I will just import app/header component. You can see the name, what this is, app/header, this is selector. So with this way we can import or use that component. So I'm just adding a div with class name equals to container. This is a bootstrap class, and inside this I'm going to add a router outlet. So inside this we will call each of the component we want. Header will be same across all the component. So router outlets is ready. So let's set up the routing. So you have to go to the routing file, and inside this routes array, you have to go to this inside this array, and you have to type path. So this is going to be a first blank path, means our home component. So inside this we will load the component home component, and we will write path match full, means if it is a blank then only load the home component. The second one we are going to use student. Once we type in /student, so it should load student component where we will have a student form. Here also path match full. Sorry. So our routing is ready. Let's link these routing to our header. So to link those things, you have to type in router link. So this is the home page, so I will leave it as a blank. So here also let's set up the routing. Router link blank, and here we are going to add student. So router link /student. So routing is ready. So let's see how it looks like. Save all the files. So yes, our header is ready as well as the home component is loading. So in this home component, we will display all the records. So I'm just leaving it blank for now. Our main job is to work on student component. So inside the student component, you have this nice form. So I want this to in center. So I have a CSS already written. So I will just copy and paste. So we can paste I think in the global CSS. So yes, our form is in center. I want some padding from the top. So what I will do is I will just add empty file, so it will be same for all the components. So our form is ready. Form UI is ready. So let's initialize this form in an Angular way. Since Angular don't know the form, so let Angular know to this is our form. So our form is inside the student component. So what we will do is yes, one more thing guys, to use the form functionalities, we have to register or declare those forms module inside the app module file. So what you have to do is forms module, we have to import it. Just click import forms module and reactive forms module, and we are going to use HTTP services also, so we need HTTP client module also. Yes, so the student form group equal to, let's say I'm naming it student form, and inside this I'm just writing a function and we submit. So once we submit the form, it will go to this function save student. Now we have to create this form student form as well as save student function inside that TypeScript file. So here I will use implements on init function. This is a lifecycle hook that is called first time once the component loads. So ng on init, and before this let's create a constructor. So we are going to use dependency injection to use a form builder library to build our form. So let's say form builder, just import it, and let's define our form. So we have name our form, that is student form. So type in public student form is equal to form group. Now initialize this form. So this dot form group equals to this dot form builder dot group. So in this form we have a three input fields, that is name, email and contact. So let's define the controls for those. Name, initially it is a blank, and I'm just giving a basic validation. Validate is not required. Name, I will just copy and paste. Name, email and contact, and we have to bind these controls to the form UI. How we will bind? So we will bind with form control name. So form control name is equals to name. Similarly, let's do for all. Email, contact, and I want my button to be disabled until the form is invalid. So how I will do it? There's a disabled property, and my form name is student form. So dot invalid. If form is invalid, it will return true. So it will bind in this disabled or disabled property. So it will be disabled once the form is valid. So it will be enabled. So let's add this function also. Save student, public save student, void, it won't run nothing. So it will have a student value. Let's try to console if this dot student form dot valid. So then we have to show the data. So let's try to console whether we are able to get the data or not. So this dot student form dot value. All good. Let's save and see. I will inspect so that I can see the console. So I will type ankit and test.com. I will type. So yes, we are able to see our data. Whatever we submitted, we are able to see. So we can also see that our button is also disabled if the form is blank or invalid. Invalid means we don't, right now we have a required validation, so if all fields are required, so it's a valid form, whether the data can be anything. Validation part we will look later. So now we are able to see the data. Now you remember we installed the JSON server. So to complete the functionalities of those, what we have to do is, we already did this step. We have to create a db.json file in the root of the project. So I will name it db.json. Let's copy the data. So we are going to have students only. So I will just remove other things. Or let's remove this also. It is a blank object. Okay. Now let's run the JSON server. So just open a new terminal. So our server is ready. So let's try. If you do /students, so we will see it's a blank right now. We don't have data in the students array. So let's add this data to this API. So this is our API. Like you can consider this is our database, or this is just our API. If /student means we will get all the data. So let's try to push the data in. Let's create the service files. So what service file will do, will accept this whole data, form data, and will call HTTP service or HTTP client, and we will submit the data to that API. So let's create a service. How you can create it? So you can create nggs means service. I will create a folder inside services, and I will name it as API. So it will create api.service.ts. So our service file is created. So let's go to now use dependency injection to use the HTTP client. So HTTP switch to HTTP client. Now let's create a function public save student data. You can name it anything. And what I will do, it will return this dot http dot post. We are going to add the data, so we will use the post method. And yes, this is the base URL. So let's add a variable here, private base URL. It will be a string. Now bind this dot base URL plus slash students. This is our API, and we will pass the data. So we are assuming we will pass the data student. We'll take it student, and we will pass the second parameter student. So now this will return the response once that API call is success. So we will call this function from the component, this component here, from here. To use that function, we have to use the dependency injection for the service. So let's say private, I will name it as a API service. So now this dot service dot save student and this dot student form dot value. Now we have to subscribe it since it is a HTTP things and it returns the observable, so it works only once we subscribe it. So let's subscribe and we will assume it will return a response. So now if we have response, so we have to alert the user that hey, student data has been saved. So how can we alert? We can use the toaster service. To use that, yes, this step I already shown you. One more thing, guys, we forgot to add these things in the app module file. App module, go to app module. And we can inject this service in our constructor. Similarly, we did for form and other things. So once our data is submitted, so we have to alert. So this dot toaster dot success. This is success method. So first we will write the message data saved successfully, and we'll give the title as success. So once that data is saved, we got alert, then we have to reset the form. So this dot form student form dot reset. I hope it will work. Let's try. Save all the files. I will inspect and see the API call. Go to the network tab, select this option fetch/XHR so that you can only see the API call, not the CSS/JS. So I will type in test.com. So yes, our data is saved. Our form is also reset, and we see this API call which returns the 201, means it's created. So we can see it returns the response, as well as if we see this our API, so we will see we have this data, right? So let's try one more time. J, let's say j@test.com. I will write something, number, add, again data is saved, and we can see here the second data. And if we can see locally in our db.json, so we can also see from here, we have this db.json. Earlier it was empty, but now it has data, right? So with this way, guys, we have created the first CRUD operation, that is to create the record. So let's wrap up one more time. What we did, we just install required bootstrap as well as JSON server and toaster and npm packages, and we just used those packages inside the app module, forms module, HTTP client and browser module, etc. And inside the angular.json, we just told Angular that hey, use this bootstrap as well as toaster CSS file. If you define and it is not reflecting, so what you can do is just reset the terminal and again serve the project ngserve, so it will work. And then after we created a service file, we defined the base URL as well as this function. We created this function, so it is accepting student as well, and we are calling the /students API. So in the next video, we are going to display all the data. Like we created the data from this student form. In the next episode or next video, we are going to display here. Means we are going to read the data and we will display in the table format. So thank you so much for watching. Guys, please subscribe, please support me, and if you like the video, please like the video and share. Please comment, and if you have any problem, please comment. I will definitely reply, and I will just share this source code to you also. I will add the link in the description. Okay, thanks for watching. See you soon.